USA Today described the Queen of the Tearling as just as easy to get sucked into as Westeros, Hogwarts, or Panem. This fantasy novel was written by New York Times bestselling author Erica Johnson and has 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads.com. It's part of a trilogy, and hi, my name's Addie.
I'm Destiny, and for this project we had to choose a book as a group and figure out a costume and set design for a player and movie, and we chose a movie. So this is the Queen of the Tearling.
To give you a little background, our main character, Kelsey, is an heir to the throne in a futuristic medieval society. As a baby, she was taken outside of the kingdom for protection, and on her 19th birthday was escorted back to the kingdom by her mother's old guard, whose name was Queen Alyssa. And among the guard, the head soldier was Mace, also known as Lazarus, and whom she forms a very strong bond with, kind of as a father figure. She's been kind of hunted since she was a baby because of her role in the royal family. She's the next heir, and her uncle, his title being the regent, didn't like that because he was doing shady deals with the Red Queen, the neighboring kingdom's evil ruler. Dark magic is involved, but they did not want her ruining their plans. So she had to be escorted back to the kingdom. Despite many failed attempts at killing her, Kelsey becomes the queen and abolishes slavery, causing really high tensions with the neighboring kingdom, the Mort border. She is also in possession of a magic pendant which helps protect her and guide her and gives her visions. And at the climax of the story, she has a dream that a rich man named Arlen Thorne goes behind her back to organize a shipment of slaves to the other kingdom, the Mortimes. And so she wakes up in the middle of the night, rounds up her guards, and goes on a hunt for him. Going along with that, she had to fit in with the soldiers, so she had to cut all her hair off, kind of fit in, kind of a Mulan moment. And she intercepts it, and thanks to her pendant, it kind of there's some magic involved, so it really helped it. And then if this movie were to become real, we think it would be rated R because of its really heavy topics. It deals with slavery, drug addiction, rape, etc. So probably rated R. To make the screen of this movie better known, we would use 4 marketing tools, the first of which being a movie poster. And the second, we would revamp the book cover. And with both these designs, we wanted to make it super simple yet futuristic and sleek because this does take place in the future.
Okay, and to reach a bigger audience, we made an Instagram ad, and sorry, wrong picture. But we used an Instagram ad, and then for our next marketing, we used Haley Steinfeld as our main character, as Kelsey, and she went to go promote on the Late Late Show with James Corden.
Hopefully doing carpool karaoke.
Yeah. Okay. And moving on from marketing, we'll be talking about our first scene, the journey. The first part of the movie is Kelsey turning 19 and her mother's guards coming to get her and escort her to the castle. But on her way, since many are trying to kill her and get to the throne, she meets the Caden and gets kidnapped and goes through difficulties. And for our first scene, she's in the cottage. It's just very isolated and in the forest, and talking about our mood board, trying to get the visual aid. It's very plain. She's very isolated in her cottage. There's no one around for miles, and she has to ride everywhere, but she's not allowed to go far since they are on the hunt for her. And for her outfit, she talks about her in a riding outfit, and she always has a cape, that is royal green. That's over there. And then for Caden, he is a very vicious attacker. And it always talks about how they had a red one, a cape, and then his armor, and then the Queen's Guard had very specific armor. It's just very out there, so you know it's the Queen's Guard. And then to prove herself, she has a big scar burn right here, and she has to prove it with her scar and then the pendant, so they know that it is her. For our second scene.
Our second scene is the crowning. This is a pivotal moment in the book because it was a big shock for her to even make it to be crowned. There is another attack on her life. Her uncle sets up his guards to attack her, and then we also later find out that one of her guards turns against her. And in our mood board, we wanted to reflect the chaotic energy of it, so it's very red, out there, fiery, that kind of feeling. Starting out with our set, Erica Johnson described it as taking place in the Great Hall, which is massive, really tall ceilings, heavy doors, and only lit by torchlight and flare through the drama. And then, as you can see, we have some furniture inspiration. They're very ornate pieces because it is like regal and wealthy. And in this scene, we have 8 characters. The first of which being Lady Andrews. She isn't important enough to get her own outfit, but she does play a role in the scene. The style of the nobles and ladies are very rich. You can kind of look to Hunger Games, the capital, sort of like over the top, like Effie, like her hair, like overdone, ridiculous style, and that kind of angers Kelsey. So Lady Andrews has these 2 spirals that apparently like stick out feet, like people can't sit next to her. It's like just taking up so much space, but she's wearing a tiara. And at the time, her mother had hid the tiara, so they couldn't find it. Like she hid it too well, but they needed it to make this coronation real. And she was wearing one, so they kind of like wrestled it out of her hair, the author describes it as. So that's why she's included. Our main character, Kelsey's wearing a long black velvet dress with a v-neck. We did the v-neck a little bit lower than the author described just to add drama and make it fit in a little bit better with the over-the-top style. Her makeup is fairly natural but does have bold lash lines so that she fits in. Her hair is in a high ponytail with a fishtail braid, kind of pulled apart, very modern and sleek. Her main servant, Andalise, she also has visions like Kelsey, where they can kind of anticipate what's going on, so they fit together really well. In this scene, she's wearing a wool dress, and to make it modern and what I think is cute, we have a mock neck with loose sleeves, kind of short but still a little bit modest. Her makeup is very natural, if any at all. She's a battered woman, very poor, so she doesn't really have money to like do her face. And her hair is in a tight top knot, like Aaron Johnson describes. Father Tyler is the timid priest who conducts the coronation. He's described as wearing a robe with no embellishments, kind of just a priest who never hired up in his hierarchy. The Queen's Guard is kept the same as in scene 1, and it will be throughout every scene just to keep it consistent. You know it's a Queen's Guard. And then the Regent's Guard, she describes it as balloonish and kind of like, the Regent is her uncle, who's kind of a joke of a man, the way she keeps like describing it, so his guards are supposed to reflect that, so kind of over the top, doesn't really do much. And then her uncle, the Regent, like I said, kind of a joke. I kind of, when I was reading it, pictured it as Jonah Hill, like if that makes sense. So, I picture that. He has a big curly beard, and a kind of a definitive fact is that he has green eyes, which is also in our mood board, and so that would have to be included in makeup. He's also not a very good man and owns slaves, not for cooking and cleaning. So his favorite one, Marguerite, has long red hair, and she's pictured here. She's supposed to be wearing a very thin blue dress. She doesn't describe the style, but I assume it isn't modest, so that's what we went with. And her makeup also isn't very natural, but not over the top because she's a slave master. And that just ends with that scene.
Okay. For our last board, The New Beginning, this is the part where Kelsey has went through everything and we're actually just starting to like her people, and then her and Father Tyler are copying books, and she hears people changing her name, and so she walks out of the balcony and sees everyone like congratulating her. And for our mood board, compared to our other mood boards, they're kind of chaotic because they were a very intense scene. This is actually a very happy one since it is like a proud moment for her. And then
So this is a very casual scene. It kind of caught her off guard because people were finally accepting her. They just line outside her balcony and start chanting her name. So since it is a surprise, it's pretty casual. We kept her in her green cloak because that was, like, it kind of reminds her of home and is very comforting to her. The author also describes her feeling most comfortable in black. So she never really described the dress, but we just figured it would be black because that's what she was most comfortable in. And this is kind of what it would look like. More fancy than a normal person because she is a queen, but it is, or black. And then she has her blue magic pendant, which stays on her at all times, kind of guides her through the book. So here's our drawing of that. And her hair and makeup, are pretty simple. Her hair, she, like I said, had to cut it all off to fit in Mulan moment. So since this is only a few days later, it hasn't grown back. And then her makeup is kind of like the dress, where it's pretty like casual, but she's also fitting into like being a queen, so it's a little bit more than maybe the first and second scene. Her Queen's Guard is kept the same because we wanted to make it a constant. And then Father Tyler, who's her timid priest, she actually grows a bond with him, and he becomes part of like the royal like payroll. And so he's wearing what's inspired by a medieval priest. It's just a more casual robe than that of the crowning, with a satin belt and like tassels on the end, and what Dusty describes as Jesus sandals. And overall, if we were in charge of costume and set design for this movie, this is kind of what we would put together.
Any questions?
What was the most challenging part of this project for you guys as a whole?
The reading. It's a good book. It's just very slow.
It is.
It's just talking about her traveling for like good couple
200
200 pages.
And I want to describe myself as a fantasy novel type of person,
Yeah.
so it was hard to get through. But I actually am kind of really digging the outcome of it all. I think it would make a cool movie. It's very
It was
explicit.
very intense.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of the book?
I think the ending, because that's when the people finally accept her, and I'm kind of a sucker for like happy endings, so I think that really like.
I would say when she met the fetch, because he just called her plain and boring, and it was like, oh, okay. That was just a very funny part.
Yeah, she was described throughout the book as plain and unremarkable compared to her mom. So we're not trying to be mean, but when I read it, I thought it'd be at least.
Who?